What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to see this one, as we got that woke bishop from Tuesday's National Prayer Service finding herself in some trouble after saying some very interesting things on the set of ABC's The View. Guys, I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. Just make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
It was one of the greatest moments of my life, sitting there inside of a hospital room, because we just had our fourth child, and so we're sitting there and I'm watching.
So big congrats to Benny. What?
Donald Trump gives his inauguration speech,
and congratulations,
and roasting Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris to their faces, and they just have to sit there and take it. And Hillary Clinton's there, and having it inside the Capitol, they have to actually be in really tight quarters.
Yes.
So they have to be a lot closer than they would be otherwise. They're literally in the shot as Donald Trump's doing this.
Yes.
And it was just it was just 30 straight minutes of just pure savagery. And they just have to shut up and listen. And it was an amazing moment. I mean, it was just
it was true. It was true. What he was saying was true. And I'm gonna be honest. I think that was one of the best speeches he's ever given. I would say that was probably the best one he's given. You're speaking before the world. He's consistent. He's hitting all the proper tones. He's talking about what he experienced and what the country's experienced as a result of Joe Biden. And then you got Kamala Harris, who ran, and she's sitting down with Oprah saying if somebody comes in her house, she's going to shoot them. And you better, union member. Like all of these different tones to try to relate to the black community. And I'm wondering, is this Medea runs for president or Kamala Harris? Like, I can't get it. Like, what are you trying to do here?
No, seriously, though, guys, we laugh. It sounds funny, but it's the truth of the matter. I mean, we seen that campaign was a straight dumpster fire. Honestly, don't understand how those ladies on the set of ABC's The View were always trying to make the point, claim that if Kamala Harris had a longer runway, that she would have been better off in that race against Donald Trump. If Joe Biden would have pulled out earlier, Kamala Harris would have done a lot better. But from what we see, you know, the amount of epic fails that came on that campaign trail for her, she would have only had more time to mess things up even worse. I don't believe it one bit.
This is a moment that I think Americans can really just hug themselves and say, thank God. We're going to finally get the economy back on track. We had over 100,000 people who have died as a result of an overdose on a drug, which we know drugs, fentanyl coming from China and then through Mexico. An open border has been a disaster for millions of families across the country. And now we got a man who's going to stand on business. And I couldn't be more excited to see this day come, be honest.
Couldn't be more excited. That one coming from our guy, Benny Johnson. You already know he's a great dude. That was Gianno Caldwell sitting down with him. And then this is the face that they were speaking upon. Oh my goodness. It was like a treat to see these two being read their rights by Donald Trump and having to sit there through it. Oh my, the last 4 years, what they had put us through. This was justice for the country. Look at Donald Trump just going in, and Joe Biden, he can't even look straight or look at the cameras because he knows he's ashamed. He's pitiful. And then Kamala Harris is looking like, oh my goodness, we really screwed this thing up bad. I mean, it was a treat to see, you guys. Then we can't forget about the so-called woke bishop. Was taking her time during the National Prayer Service to selfishly throw her church into politics. We got Donald Trump speaking out, slamming down on her for it. Listen to what he's got to say. This was on Truth Social. Donald Trump said the so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people. I mean, come on, you guys. We can't forget about Riley Gaines, Laken Riley. I mean, where is this bishop, so-called woke bishop, get off? Trying to condemn or lecture Donald Trump. If he wanted to hear a skinny white woman lecture him, he'd go listen to Maddow. Let's be real with ourselves. And they're saying, or he's saying, Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions, which is exactly right. They emptied their jails into our country. Of course, Trump and our nation is wanting to send these folks right back alongside the folks who've been waiting in line. There is a process, a procedure in place. Lots of folks are waiting to get their visa into our nation, but then we've got these folks who just skipped the line. There's lots of folks who are upset, outraged about the invasion of our country. Then we got Trump saying there's a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA as a result of all this illegal migration. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. Oh my goodness, that's Donald Trump coming out. He does not sound happy one bit, and rightfully so. I mean, what happened to a separation between state and the church? She's trying to, selfishly throw her church or, guilt us into believing what she's saying simply because of the title she is holding. You shouldn't come after a bishop, but just because you're holding that title doesn't mean that you actually you have good intentions with it. Doesn't mean that you're going to seek to do good no matter what. And in one of these cases like this, we're going to call them out 10 times out of 10. We can't let folks like this slide. And then we've got that Bishop Miriam Budde taken to the Stef, ABC's The View. This is a warm welcoming for anyone who opposes or goes against Donald Trump. Let's see how that went, guys. Check this one out.
They could, and leave, as they say, leave the rest to God.
Bishop, predictably, you seem to strike a nerve. President Trump initially said yesterday it was, quote, not a good service, unquote. But overnight, he took to social media to say you were a, quote, radical left hardline Trump hater, unquote, that you brought the church into politics and that you owe your church and the public an apology. Now, given your role, it doesn't seem surprising that you would speak out for the marginalized, as anyone who's read the Bible and knows the path of Jesus. But do you think your message is being misconstrued and politicized?
Well, sure. Yeah. But
And the reason why we're getting that type of response, she's not genuine in saying sure she feels like her message is being politicized because she doesn't want to tell a lie. She knows exactly what her motive was behind the way she was speaking up there. She was trying to guilt trip us into believing her beliefs simply because she is a bishop, trying to get folks to turn on Donald Trump, and it backfired on her. But this is what she wanted. I believe she wanted this type of attention, media, and the exact spotlight that we're seeing her get right now.
Well, sure. Yeah. But I think if you read what I said, and how could it not be politicized, right? We're in a hyper political climate. One of the things I caution about is the culture of contempt in which we live that immediately rushes to the worst possible interpretations of what people are saying and to put them in categories such as the ones you've just.
What else are we to make of it? She's trying to make light of these illegal immigrants. At one point, she even made claims saying that they're here, or she's justifying them being here by saying they need to clean our houses and pick our crops. If that isn't prejudice, I don't know what is. The way these folks speak, it just does not make sense. They'll run and spin a story, push their narrative, no matter what. Even in the church, it's crazy.
What people are saying and to put them in categories such as the ones you've just described. That's part of the air we breathe now. And I was trying to speak a truth that I felt needed to be said, but to do it in as respectful and kind a way as I could. And also to bring other voices into the conversation, which voices that had not been heard in the public space for some time.
There we have it, guys. And she wasn't preaching God's word. She didn't say a prayer. She was simply lecturing us about our lifestyles. And that's not what she was there to do. She can make as many excuses on, folks jumping to conclusion nowadays as she wants. But exactly what she gave us and what we've seen is what we got. I don't like the way that, she's trying to come off, make excuses. These ladies on The View don't even hold her accountable or, challenge her. This is The View. They're not going to challenge their guests, especially when they're slamming down or going against Donald Trump, guys. I'm going to leave it there. For those who didn't see what she actually said, I'll play that on the back end. Just check this out.
Let me make one final plea. Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, Wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.